Steele. It's great to see you. Thanks for joining me. We talked a little bit before we turned the cameras on. The DoD community is not as receptive as maybe it could be about innovation. You've been in this space for a while. What have you seen people do to drive innovation in an organization like the Defense Department, where innovation is not always well received?
Right. Yeah. Well, so it's interesting, right? I've got a few decades of experience working with a lot of the customers here, and some of that spans through larger companies, right, that are well known for what they do. Some of that has to do with a little bit of history in the startup space, and our customers are sometimes burdened with a lot of process. So one of the best ways to find a kind of a shortcut through that is to find some pain or demand around an area of interest, whether it's a mission program or mission objective, to try to help them understand better efficiencies and new technologies and ways to address that. So I've seen customers be successful in InQtel engagements, as an example. I've seen customers with some better experience operating with cloud marketplaces, as an example, and we've experienced some of that. Our customers have benefited from some of that in the company that I work for today. So there's a couple of different ideas there, but at the end of the day, the faster path to helping the community innovate is through those pain points and some of those mission objectives.
Yeah, finding a demand signal, I imagine, is not too hard. I imagine you've seen episodes over time where there are pain points where the person experiencing the pain might not know that there's a better solution, or might not know that they can ameliorate that pain somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. Awareness of new and evolving technologies is always a challenge. And so, we have sales teams and systems engineers that are constantly working with our partners, systems integrator partners, partnering with our direct customers on the USG side to keep that awareness as tight as possible, so they understand, if we're making an acquisition around application delivery, why are we doing that, and how are they going to be able to benefit that? And naturally, we want to grow our target addressable market as a company, but for the customer, it gives them some ability to leverage our technology in spaces where they might not be thinking about it.
What's the trend that you've seen over time for DoD, the intelligence community, the national defense sector more broadly, at being able to express to their industry partners, this is what we're going for, or this is the problem that we have, rather than bringing you a big textbook style book of requirements and asking you to check all the boxes?
Right, yeah, so that's an interesting question. Some of that is more blatantly available than other ideas, like security threats and vulnerabilities, right? Sometimes the next innovation is around protecting a vulnerability or a risk for a customer. You can point to any number of open source vulnerabilities that have taken place in the sector in the last 3 to 5 years. Well, part of the challenge there is it's a shiny object syndrome. As soon as there is a open source vulnerability, the IT security sector is going to tell you every way that they can think of to solve that. So I think it's incumbent upon us to go demonstrate to our government customers how we're efficiently or more efficiently or effectively addressing some of those issues, right? I think that's a big part of it.
You asked half of the next question I was going to ask, which is, how can industry be a better partner to government? You covered that. How can government be a better partner to industry, and by that same measure then get the solutions that they need in a more easy, faster, maybe cheaper way? Yeah,
that's a good question. I mean, conferences like this, the DOTIS conference, is a great environment for us to be at. Network, infrastructure, cybersecurity, this tends to be a different type of an agenda for us, more relevant for the technology that we're trying to get out into that space. The other thing that becomes a little bit of a challenge is every agency has a different personality or complexion in how they build their infrastructures. Some of those, as an example, have a service provider mindset. And so that's a more consolidated approach to advertising their strategy and their go-forward direction. Other organizations have different types of stovepipes around programs that they stand up for cybersecurity or infrastructure. Some of those tend to overlap. And then, of course, you've got the special programs that are out there that have pretty unique security requirements. And so, I think that if I were to make a recommendation, it would be great if the government could hold a conference that basically said, here's our strategic objectives by agency and where we intend to invest each fiscal year. I think that would be a great step forward.
Jeff, thanks very much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you.